Assalamu alaikum dear students, how are you? I hope you all going well. You know, the topic narration has been under discussion. In today's lecture we will look at how interrogative sentences will change into indirect, or how to treat interrogative sentences to change them into indirect speech. First of all, you should know what are interrogatives. Interrogative sentences are those sentences which are used to interrogate, inquire, or ask. And this is really very important for you to know that interrogatives are of two types. One is polar interrogatives, means interrogatives begin with auxiliary verbs, right? And the other form or type of interrogative is WH interrogatives. They begin with WH, like where, when, why, how, who, whose, which, etc. and etc. And you have to go about these two types of interrogatives differently while changing them into indirect speech. Anyhow, look at this. In reporting questions in the indirect way, the reporting verb is changed into ask, inquire, demand, query, or some such verb. It means while changing interrogative sentences into indirect, you have to change the reporting verb like said to, tell, or told into asked. And if you have polar interrogatives begin with auxiliaries, then you have to put in whether or if, WHETHER, whether or if is conjunction, after removing the inverted commas. You have to do this only in the case of polar interrogatives. Do not put any kind of conjunction when you are changing WH sentences into indirect, right? There should be used no conjunction in those cases, right? So second change is to put in the conjunctions whether or if, instead of date. We have been using in the previous sentences like types of sentences like assertive, declarative sentence. Second, rewrite the reported speech in the assertive form. Bring the subject before the verb. As in indirect speech, we are actually doing all kind of sentences. We are basically bringing all kind of sentences into assertive. So you have to change the places of subject and auxiliary verb, right? So you have to bring the subject before the verb, so to make it assertive. The conjunction that is not used after the reporting verb when there are WH sentences. If you have sentences begin with help you up, like do you like my pen, did he bring a new car, did he buy a new car, these kind of sentences do take that. But if you have sentences like why do you buy a car, since this kind of sentence begins with WH, so there is no room for using this conjunction that. Question mark gives place to full stop, as you have been doing, and you should be doing this with all kind of sentences. Since you are to change all kind of sentences into assertive form, so all kind of sentences with its marks our identification symbols will change into full stop, right? When the question begins with an interrogative pronoun such as what, who, which, whom, whose, or with an interrogative adverb, just as I have just said, WH, such as when, where, why, how, the same word is used to introduce the indirect speech, nothing to do with them. Just keep them intact and just change the first capital letter of these interrogative pronouns into small, right? Look at this. I said to him, who are you? This should be in capital. This is a kind of mistake that has been repeating in these slides. Since I have copied it from Google, so there is this kind of mistake repeatedly, right? I said to him, who are you? Just look at this. Is it polar or WH? It is WH, since it begins with who, right? So you have nothing to do with this, just keep it intact and remove the inverted comma, right? No conjunction is to be used. First of all, you have to change this reporting verb set to into asked. I asked him, right? Who are you? Here, as we have told you that the pronoun auxiliary and the subject should be, the places of auxiliary and the subject should be replaced. So this sentence will be like, the indirect to this sentence is I ask him who, this is second person, here is the object, so this should be changed according to object. I asked him who he was, who he was, right? And full stop. I inquired of him. You can also go like this if you use this inquired. I inquired of him who he was. I asked him who he was. I asked him who he was. Look at this sentence now. Ajmal said to me, why do you not go home? Ajmal asked me why I did not go home. It's so simple, right? Now look at sentences begin with auxiliary verbs, as I have named it as polar interrogatives, right? When the question begins with the auxiliary of the finite verb is are, am, was, do, did, can, may, will, shall, he, has, have. Okay, I think I had forgotten, okay, telling you that can will change into could, may into might, okay, and will into would, right? Will and shall both will get changed into would, not should, right? Just keep it in mind. Okay, or in other words, whenever the question may have yes or no for an answer, if or whether is used to introduce indirect speech. Actually these are not okay the questions, they are just a question tag type questions. Okay, direct speech, look at this. Okay, you have to put in, okay, if or whether. In this case, the teacher said to the boy, have you done your homework? Okay, since this sentence begins with auxiliary, that is polar, so you have to go for conjunctions if or whether, okay, whatever you like. The teacher asked the boy if, okay, you have to bring this, okay, over here and have, okay, in the place of this subject. So the teacher asked the boy if, okay, he, okay, it will change according to object, the boy, he had done his homework, full stop, right? Other changes will, okay, go on accordingly. Mr. George said, is Mr. Smith at home? Mr. John inquired if Mr. Smith was at home. Simple, right? Okay, okay, let's have a check on, okay. I think you have got understood about this. Okay, now listen to some sentences and you have to change them into interrogative, right? Okay, the first sentence is, just listen, you have to change these sentences into indirect, right? The stranger said to me, where were you going? Okay, the stranger said to me, where were you going? First sentence. Okay, and she said to me, are you going to Islamabad? Right, this is second sentence. She said to me, are you going Islamabad? Third sentence, the teacher said, where does he live these days? The teacher said, where does he live these days? Next. Okay, he said to me, why do you stare at her? He said to me, why do you stare, S-T-A-R-E, stare at her? Okay, next sentence is, the mother said to her child, whose toys are you holding? Whose toys are you holding? Right. And last sentence is, she said to me, am I to finish my work in time? Am I to finish my work in time? Okay, okay, I have another sentence, just okay, jot it down. He said to me, is he going Sargodha tomorrow, or is he going, okay, Lahore tomorrow? Okay, thank you. Just change them into indirect, right? Thank you.